Welcome to my Hebrew channel, Miel Hebraica. Today we're going to be looking at Exodus 1, the first chapter, and a small portion of the second chapter. So we'll get into a reading. It's from the Shashon, and it's a very interesting read, and I'm going to take a little time here and there to explain a few things along the way. We can't do a lot of explaining because then it would get to be a very long file, but we'll have some fun with it and have a nice look at it. It's a very nice little read that we'll be carrying out at this time. So let's go to it. ואלה שמות בני ישראל הבאים משריימה את יעקב. And these are the names of the sons of Israel, bnei Israel, haba'im, as they came, as they were coming, participle right here, Mishraima, and the Mishraim would be Egypt, and Mishraima is towards Egypt with a directional hey at the end right here. This is the comet's hey, which is the directional hey on the end of Mishraim. Rishaim is the name for Egypt. It's a dual, means probably the two banks of the Nile. One of the suggestions as to why this word would be a dual. So Mishraima, this is a direct object marker. Yaakov, Jacob. That's the first of the names that are those who immigrated into Egypt. Ish beito ba'u, and each man, each one, and his household, batu. These parts, the reason the letters do seem a little bit all scriggly, and so they've been touched up. So you can kind of see the lighter portions here of the originals, and the touch-up work is done on top of it. So the lettering is a little bit corrected, as I'd say. Isha beito ba'u, and they came. Reuben, first one of the list, firstborn. Shimeon, Levi, Yehuda. This is Judah. They put a conjunction in front of this one. I think the reason for it is that if they would just say Yehuda, it would sound like Jehovah is doing something, but here's the name then is Yehuda. Okay, they have a conjunction in front of the name here. And Judah here, and Judah. Issachar, Zebulon, Benjamin, okay, Benjamin, Dan, Naphtali, Gad. Okay, those are the names of the people who established the tribes of Israel. And last but not least is Asher. Vehi kol nefesh yotzei yarech. And this is all those. These are all the souls, the soul of those who came out of the loin. Okay, it's a singular. It came from the intimate parts of Yaakov. Okay, here. Yaakov, Shevaim, 70. Nefesh. This is an approximation. Later on, other parts of the Bible are a little bit more exact. I think some parts will say 75. But this can be understood as an approximation. The Bible does have approximations sometimes, and so we aren't, I said, we aren't taking down anything. We're not putting anything to one side if we say, oh, well, this doesn't quite agree with some other parts. Sometimes numbers don't agree because they are approximations, and this apparently is one of them. Yaakov, Shevaim, Nefesh, Yosef, and Joseph. Okay, the added one, Yosef, Hayab be Mishraim. And Joseph already was in Ba Mishraim. And here we do see the full dual section of A, Yod, Hirik, Mem. Okay, Mishraim. Yamot. This is Yamot. This is a Kamisatuv, so this is it's a closed syllable. It will be pronounced all here. Yamot. Yosef. Okay, same word as here, Yosef. Vekol, and all. Ahivs, his brothers. Vekol, Hador, Hahu, and all of the generation of that one. This is a demonstrative pronoun here at the end of Hador. Okay, Dor is generation, and that's a well-known word of generation. We see that also in Genesis, the first few chapters where the generations of Adam are listed out. So Hador, Hahu, Ubanei, Israel, the sons of Israel, Paru. Okay, they prospered. They became fruitful. Okay, Paru is Fari is fruit, and Peru is they are becoming fruitful. In other words, they're reproducing. They Sarzu, and they increased rapidly. Zazur, that's it's a picture of teeming fish all together. So, there's a big crowd of them here. Okay, Yeshar Zarzu, they Ravu, and multiplied. Rav is extended out. They yet Zumu, and they became quite a lot. Every one of these are words that are very similar in meaning, and they got 4 of them all tied together. And then on top of the whole thing, meod, okay, very much and very much. Okay, so they're fruitful, increased rapidly, multiplied, they became extremely numerous. And this is meod, very much. Tamale, and they filled Haaretz Otam, and they filled the land with them. Okay, so this is them. That's a pronoun right here at the end. Haaretz here is the land, of course. Yakom, and raised up, arose, came to power. Okay, Yakom, Melech Hadash, a king that was new, Al Mishraim, over Egypt. Asher, who Lo Yada, did not know, Et Yosef, did not know Yosef. Yosef Yomer, and he said, Al Amo, to his people, Hine, wow, take a look, behold, Am, this people, Bnei Israel. And he said, oh, this people, sons of Israel. He's now pointing out these people which, instead of being their allies, instead of being friends and so, are all of a sudden regarded as their enemies. Rav, Ashum, and they lots of them, and they're powerful. Memenu, compared to us. I start making comparisons. They go, oh my, Memenu. This is a comparative mem right here. Memenu, compared to us. Hava, let's get going here. Let's Hava. Nit, Hakma. We should be Hakma. We should be wise. In other words, we should be astute or shrewd. A positive way of translating this would be, let's be wise about this, but it isn't really in that sense. Let's just be smart about it. Let's be shrewd about shrewd. And the word shrewdly is what's there. This is what I call an exotic. Nit it's a reflexive causative. Okay, hitpail, and so it's let's be shrewd about this. Lo, to this, pen. Pen is the face. Otherwise, or something's going to turn on us. Something's going to happen. Okay, pen. This is a penun with a makef here. Pen. Yerabav. Otherwise, they will multiply a whole lot more. Haya, and they will be ki tikrana, and it will happen that they would call out, or they would declare. Yeah, they would declare milchama. They would declare a war. Yeah, tikrana milchama. So a war would be declared. Nosaf, and they would add, or they would join up. Nosaf, reflexive of Yosef. Okay, we've seen Yosef as the name of Joseph, but here this is what it means they'll be joining up. Okay, Nosef, Gam, Hu, also Hu, him, Al, with, they will join with, Shen no Einu, with our enemies. Shen no Einu, Va, Nilcham, Banu, and they will go to war. We saw Milchama, which is war, and there will be warfare. There will be war with us. They will rise up against us. They will Nilham Banu, and it will be war against us. Ve'ana, min, and they would get up also from Haaretz, from the land. They Yeshamu, and so they placed or they assigned Alon on them. Sharei, this is taskmasters, taskmasters. If you take this Shin Resh and double it out, you see it in Psalm 23, Shorai, those would be enemies, the ones who are causing us sore trouble. So this is Shorei, this is a taskmasters, princes or bosses. Shorei, Michim, they're causing, work, okay? And in charge of the task, right? Charge of the work. Leman, so that, Anotot, so that the labor, Shibalatam, so that they would be under forced labor. Okay, Shibal Tam. Shibal is when you have the stalks of grain, and then you have to work on them, and that's so that's also used for forced labor. Okay, with Shibal Tam, with their forced labor of them. Okay, so this is the root is Shibal, which means Shibal, means when you're doing work, and then with and on to them. Okay. Yabed, and then they built Array, Mishkonot, that is supply cities, Mishkonot, Le Pharaoh, to Pharaoh, et Pitom, et Ramshesh. Okay. There's some archaeological work, and there's some possibilities that they have found these cities along one of the would be the eastern tributaries of the Nile, so out close to the land of Goshen. So this would make a lot of sense that these cities that they're going to work on, the supply cities or cities which are for supply storehouses, that would be the Pitom and the Ramshesh. Ramshesh, of course, is the name of one of the major pharaohs, and there's a concept or an idea that the pharaoh that Moses had to deal with was Ramshesh. So this a double samak like this at the end, you just never really see it in Hebrew. So Ramshesh is very obviously an Egyptian name here. So Ramshesh. Apitom, probably quite also an Egyptian name. Kesher, and as it so happened, Anun, as they oppressed them, Oto, to him, Ken, Ken Yarbe, and they multiplied, and Ken, and they Yaparats, and they spread out. Okay, they multiplied and they spread out. This is it's as you see right here, it's quite easy to think of this one as a dalet, but it's a Yavrab. Okay, and they multiplied, and then they also spread out. And Ken is so it is. I mean, this is really what happened then. Okay, Ken Yafarats. They Kuzu, and it came to dread, or it became hard for them. Mifanen, from in front of from the face of, from the Faneh is the front of, from the face of Bnei Israel, sons of Israel, Bnei Israel. Described here, wanted to take Israel, and incidentally, you can see some of the flexibility you have in writing things here. You have Yisrael right here, and you have Israel right here. That's about a third longer. If you want to stretch out to fit where you're going, you can do it. And if you want to cramp it in a little bit, you do it over here. So this is Israel spread out. This is Israel as he cramped into this line here. And they served. His Abad is Ayin Bet Dalet, and the third person plural with the surik right here. Ve'abadu, and they served Mishraim to the Egyptians made them. Oh no, this is a causative here, and they made them serve, made them work. Mishraim et Bnei, to the sons of Israel, to the sons of Israel, et Bnei Israel. Ta ba pared, very bitterly, very very nastily. Okay, ba pared, parech. It's a cuff, final cuff right here. Ba be parech. okay, in bitterness. They yeah, maru, and they were very bitter. They were very maru is to feel like mara, like bitterness. Okay, and they were bittered. It ha yechim. Okay, to their lives. Hai is life, and this is their lives. This is the plural suffix pronoun on here, so it's their lives of them. Okay, to their direct object marker. Yeah, hayechem. Okay, their lives of them were maru. Okay, their lives of them were bitter. Were yeah, felt bad. They abado in their labor. Okay, abada. This is you take abad to work, and you stick a hey at the end, and then it becomes a noun here. So in the work of them, kashe, very tough, hard. Be hamor. This is in mortar, and mortar, things used for plastering things. Be hamor. U be libanim. Libanim are bricks. Okay. So specifically, probably white bricks that have been either dried in the sun or fired somehow. Probably more just dried in the sun. Be libonim. Okay, sounds a little bit like Lebanon, but because the bricks are probably white once they are dried out. So be libonim, libonim. Ve bekol, and in all, avodah is the same thing as you saw up here. Avodah. So avodah in their work. Ba shadeh in the field work here. Avodah shadeh et kol, and to all avad ham, and to all of the work. Asher avadu, which they applied to them. Becham, over them. And they're going to repeat be padech, in bitterness, in ruthlessly, powerful, severity. Okay, severity. Be padech. Mayomer, Melech Mishraim, and the king of Mishraim, of Egypt. Le meyal ledot, to the midwives. Ivrit, of the Hebrews. Asher, which was Shem, the name. Ihad, of the one. Shifra, Shem ha-shinit, in the name of the second one. Puah, okay, Puah. This is Puah. Vayomer, and he said, Be Yelad Chen, and he said to the as they are, no, Be Yelad Chenet ha-ivrit, and they said to the midwives, the Hebrew ones, habriyot. Okay, this is a holm right here. Habriyot. Ritem, and as you see, and as you observe, al ha-ebionim, ebionaim, the two stones. Okay, this is a dual form of eben is a stone, the two stones. And so quite obviously what was happening as the Hebrew women were giving birth at that time, they would squat on two stones, and then of course whoever's helping them, once the birth was being presented, they'd be able to see whether the child was a male or female once the child was being born. And so when what Pharaoh is saying here, when you see things happening, you got to make a decision, right? Or this or that. And it's a terrible decision to make here. So this is actually a very, very awful order that Pharaoh is extending to these women. So as you're on the birthing stones, the two birthing stones, Imbed, if it's a son, he, maten, you have to kill it. Okay? He maten, kill it. Okay? kill it. Oto, this is it here, him. Kill him. Okay, oto. Himaten, oto. Ve im, but, and if it's a daughter, if it's a girl, you, her. Haya, that one will live. Okay, haya, living. Ve tirena, and they feared. So the root right here, we've been seeing the word yere, to see, but this one's yod resh aleph, to fear. And it's a feminine plural ending on here, on. And the prefix form is of this particular verb, to fear. And they feared, molodot, and the midwives feared et Elohim. They feared God. Okay? The direct object marker here, Elohim, well-known name for a generic name for God, Elohim. Velo ashu, and they did not do as kasher, as which dibar, ordered, told. Okay, Elichen, to them, Melech, king, Mishraim, of Egypt, ve tech hayen, and they let live. Okay, they let live. They allowed to live. Et hayeladim, to the boys. This is a masculine ending here of yod mem. Okay, so et hayeladim. Okay, hayeladim. Ve Yakra, and he called Melech, the king called Yakra, Mishraim, the king of Egypt, Melech Mishraim, Yakra, le Maldot, to the midwives, Vayomer, and he said, Lehem, to them, Madua, why? Okay, Shiten, why are you doing this? Adabar, this thing, Hazeh, this is the demonstrative pronoun here, the thing, this thing, Ve Tach Hayan, and they had, because they had let live, okay, they had let them live. Et Hayeladim, again, the same construction as the previous line here, the boys, okay, Et Hayeladim. There's a article on the front of Yeled. Yeled, Yod Lamed Dalet, is Yeled is child, the child, and then this is the masculine ending of that word then, Yeladim, Hirik Yod Mem, okay, Et Hayeladim. Va Tomaran, and they answered, Ma al Lodot, and the midwives, Al Pharaoh, to Pharaoh, Pharaoh, El Pharaoh, Ki, no, because not, Ki, compared to, Ka, Nashim, compared to the women. Now this particular word, you have Ish is man, Isha is woman, Anashim is men, and Nashim, it's actually a masculine ending, but it is a feminine noun. It is a feminine word here, in plural, the women, okay? So the women right here. Nashim, Mishrit, the women of the Egyptians, okay, Egyptian women. And this is a comparison, because as Ibriot, as compared to the Ibriot, to the Hebrew women. Ki, Hayot, because as it happens, as they are. Hine, Beterem, way before. Habo, the ones when we come. Elohim, to them. Ha, and this particular word right here doesn't have any real vowel pointing on it. This dot here tells, don't read this portion here, okay? You gotta start wondering why you're not going to read it. It's a hey mem. Mem's not a final mem. It's just a hey mem, and it's just kind of sitting out there by itself, and there's no indication as to how it should be pronounced. So actually, what happened? The scribe put this word right in here. Found out there wasn't enough room to finish it on the line here, so he started over. He just left this blank here in terms of the mashra, the pointing, and then went over here. Ha, ma. Aladot, the midwives, Yaladan, they give birth. In other words, before the Maladot can arrive, they've already given birth. So in other words, we have nothing to say about it. I mean, Hebrew women give birth and they're on their way, and we never even catch up to them. So it's kind of a funny answer to the king. Of course, it's an excuse, but yeah, it's one that they were willing to promote. So Vayatev, and it went well, and Elohim did well. Okay, there's a causative tav. Tev is to go well, and it made it go well. Okay, Yatev. So it's causative of tev, tov, and God made it go well. Le ma odot, okay, to the midwives. Yarav, and made many of them. La'am, to the people. Ya'asumu, and they prospered. They became numerous. Miel, very much. Vehi ke yereu, and because they had feared, maladot, the midwives had feared, ed Elohim, ya'az, and he made lachem, to them, batim, daughters, families, houses actually, batim, houses, peoples, v'yas, and then he commanded. This is shiva, okay, shua, the same word that's used in mishvoto to form the word mishvoto, but this is yod samek ayim. It's kind of obvious that the scribe at some point had missed the word Pharaoh, so Yeshu had gone in here, but so they had scratched this one out. They stuck Yeshu in the end here to fit it in. This is a very short word. It's a Yod Sadik Vav. And then over here where Yeshu had been, they scratched it out and they put Pharaoh on top of that. So it's kind of interesting to see a corrector here. And once in a while you do see in handwritten copies, if it's a minor mistake, they'll fix it. If it's a major mistake, they have to throw the whole sheet away. If it's a minor mistake, they'll fix it. They fixed it here. Pharaoh. Pharaoh was placed in where this verb happened to be before. Yeah, Pharaoh. Lekol ha'am, to all the people. I would just say, seeing a corrector does not at all detract from the inspiration of Scripture or its inerrancy or anything like that. It just describes what happens in transmission of a text. And that's why a text has to be studied very closely, because it gives us a lot of confidence that they're willing to make sure the text is exactly right. And you can see with the corrector going here, yeah, they make sure it's exactly right. Okay, Pharaoh, lekol ha'am, to all the people, lemor, saying, kol haben, those are holot, okay. You must, and they said, haben, must throw all of the birth, the ones, all of the son, each son, kol haben, all of each son, holid, that is born, yerach, okay, into the yerach, into the Nile. This is the article here, and Yerach is the Nile name. That's the proper name of the Nile River. Okay, Yerach. Shilako, and Tisha Shalkehu, and it must be thrown. Okay, Tishal Shalech is to toss. Okay, and they must be tossed. Okay, Tishalaku, Kol, and now conjunction here, and then Kol Habat, and every daughter, Techayun, and each daughter will stay alive, even as an emphatic nun at the end here. Tichayal, Tichayun. Yelech, and he came, Haish, a man, Beit Levi, from the house of Levi, Betikach, and he took it, Bat, took a daughter of Levi, it Bat Levi, Bethar, and she became pregnant. Haish, the woman. Betelech, Teled, and gave birth to Teleben. Betare, and she saw Oto, to him. Ki Tov, Hu, that he was good, him. Ve Tish Shafona, and she hid him. Tish Fenihu, Shelosha Yerahim, 3 moons, okay, 3 months, okay. Yerach is Yericho, moons, and that's 3 months, okay. So moons and months are the same thing here. So she hid him for 3 months. Yerahim Velo, Yakala, was when it was no longer possible. Od, up to then, okay. Od, she feinu, to hide him. Vetikach lo, and she took him. Teba, this is a basket or an ark. Gemo, coated with pitch or with asphalt, something that would make it waterproof. And there we have the reading of the first chapter of Exodus, and the first 2.5 verses, 3 verses of the second chapter, of which when the Levite, man of the tribe of Levi, marries another lady from the same tribe, and Moses then is born to that couple. And then, so chapter 2 is a whole description of what happens to Moses when he's set afloat into the river. And so that's also a very interesting story. This is where the page break takes place. So this is as far as we'll get into our study of this particular portion. So may God bless, may God strengthen you in the study of his word. It's beautiful, and you can see here some of the work that the scribes have done in copying it, and how faithful they have been in making it. You can see this man was working right along, getting this all copied out. It's very much a manuscript, very much handwork, and he's got quite a strong personality to put it all down on the scroll, as he's doing right here. Well, it's not a scroll; it's a page. It's a pergamon. It's a lamb's skin that this is written on. So may God bless, and God strengthen you. May God give you confidence in the scripture as you study it. May God bless. Until the next time.